The Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross can be described as a story of faith, resilience, and the transformative power of religion in shaping the spiritual and political landscape of a nation. Join us as we explore the cathedral's rich history and its impact on the lives of Zambians. The Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross sits on a 10-acre hillland overseeing the city centre and the Lusaka City Council. Surrounding the Cathedral of the Holy Cross are government buildings with the courts just behind the church. Before the construction of the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, this cross standing here was the first to be placed on this ground, and this is where the name Cathedral of the Holy Cross is derived from. The launch of the construction of the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross started in 1955 with the architecture design done by Ian Riller, Hope, Riller and Morris.
I was born in 1956 here in Lusaka, and that's when the drawings and the design for this cathedral were made. At that time there was a small church which is now a national monument, which is found in the Zambia National Service premises just down the road from us here, and that's where I was baptized, and that's where my parents used to worship. So I've grown up in this cathedral, from seeing it being built, seeing the concrete, seeing the slabs, and eventually I was confirmed in this cathedral in 1970. My parents both were very active in this cathedral as a parish.
In 1957, the foundation stone was laid by Queen Elizabeth. The project received funding, with the first contribution coming from Canterbury by the royal family.
Building a cathedral, of course, every bit of this cathedral, there were contributions from various people. The first contributions came from the Canterbury, the royal family, etc. But more, as it was being built, there are people who have told me, we used to bake cakes and sell the cakes, and all the way from Chipata, and then they would collect that money and send it over to add to the building of the cathedral. Some people contributed bricks, some people contributed money. Institutions contributed several things in this place. The door was a contribution from the then council. You have seats that were contributed by various people. The forces contributed their contributions. The copper mines made their contributions. The cross is copper. The roof is copper. All these, about the concrete, there is copper. And all that was part of the coming together of the diversity of the nation to build a cathedral so that we would have a focus on our beliefs and our nation's future. And I believe that's a very, maybe that's how we were already a Christian nation.
On the Holy Cross Day in September 1962, the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross was officially opened for worship. And on 25th October 1964, a Thanksgiving service was held at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, with the first Zambian flag to first ever fly placed on the altar. Since then, the flag has been on the cathedral wall. The Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross is a masterpiece of Gothic architecture, with its towering arcs stained glass windows and intricate stone carvings. The cathedral has 3 chapels inside, with 1 outside. As you enter the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, on the right is the All Saints Chapel, which connects the cathedral with the old Anglican Church located within the Zambia National Service headquarters and now declared a monument. The All Saints Chapel hosts the pulpit, which was used at the All Saints Church. On the left side is a Fossils Chapel, which has now been dedicated to the Defense Forces. The other one is the Lady Chapel, which has a tabernacle where sacraments are kept. The Lady Chapel is the one used on everyday services and mostly used for small numbers of worshippers. The 4th and last chapel at the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross is located outside just behind the cathedral. The St. Francis Chapel used to be an open-air garden before being built. It is used as a multi-purpose hall and also has an altar. The first bishop in Zambia, Francis Oliver Green Wilkinson, who was bishop from 1951 to 1970, and was key in raising funds for the construction of the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross, has his ashes buried in this chapel together with other congregants. The Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross clocked 60 years of existence in September 2022, marking its Diamond Jubilee. However, commemorations were put on hold following the death of Bishop David Njovu, Anglican Bishop for Lusaka Diocese. The celebrations, which were pushed to 3rd September 2023, now coincide with the enthronement of the new bishop for Lusaka Diocese.
By the time the cathedral was built, we were looking at Zambia, and from Zambia now we're looking at the 6th bishop now. So since inception. But there are these stages when we went before independence, after independence. And our bishop here, the late now, Bishop David Njovu, passed on about 2 years ago. We put him to rest. We had our first memorial earlier on. And now we have, there's a new bishop already elected, and he is currently the Archbishop of the Anglican Church of the province of Central Africa, the same area I mentioned. He will be enthroned. So once a person is already a bishop, you don't have to reconsecrate a bishop, you enthrone him. And one of the reasons a cathedral is called a cathedral is within the cathedral, the building, there is a chair called the cathedra. And that cathedra makes it the cathedral. It's not the size of the building, it's not the location, but it is that chair. And that chair is the seat of the Bishop of Lusaka, Anglican Bishop of Lusaka. And it is within the cathedral. And so the new bishop, who is already a bishop, Archbishop, he will be enthroned into his cathedra chair on 3rd September, Sunday, 3rd September. And that ceremony is done by the dean, because the dean is the host of the cathedral. And he then takes his office by that action.
And on 3rd September 2023, President Hakainde Hichilema was guest of honor at the enthronement ceremony of the new Bishop of Lusaka Diocese, Archbishop Dr. Albert Chama. President Hichilema called for close collaboration between the church and the government in bettering the lives of Zambians.
We will continue working with this church, its leadership, Archbishop Chama, as you assume your role, but also with other churches in this our Christian country. We also understand this partnership, that the church has a role in this broader partnership. The church has a responsibility to the flock, God's people, but also to render counsel to the government. Governments before us, and this particular government, and I believe governments after us, because that is the way it's supposed to be. And we appreciate last year done 60 years. And many of us know how important this cathedral is, not just to the Anglican Church, not just to our Christian faith, religions, but as our leaders have already spoken, this cathedral has been important to the stability of our country for years and years. And I'll say something a little bit about that. We appreciate the role of this church, this Anglican Church, not just in evangelizing our society, our country, not just in a Christian mission, but also as a critical leader of society. Before you, Archbishop Chama, those that have served this church, this diocese, yes, this church in this country, have contributed immensely to the well-being of our country. The contribution of this church is littered all over. If one cares to look, as we have been reminded, one cares to listen, as we have been reminded, one cares to read, you can see the marks that this church has printed in our society over years. So thank you to this, our church.
Eastern Diocese Bishop William Muchombo called for humility among those serving the people.
This cathedral is a gift to the nation because of its Christian ministry of reconciliation and, of course, other Christian ministries that take place in this cathedral. Relationships and reconciliation are at the heart of Christian life. It is this ministry, among other ministries, that Archbishop Chama you will need to foster as part of the legacy and ministry of this cathedral. Through Christ, we are in fellowship with God and with one another, regardless of denominational, ethnicity, or political party affiliation. Through the Word of God, we are called upon to show commitment and responsibility towards one another.
The head of state later unveiled the plaque to mark 60 years of the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross existence.
This commemorative stone was unveiled by a fellow by the name of Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia, on the 3rd of September 2023, on the occasion of the Diamond Jubilee of the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross, 1962 to 2022, and the enthronement of the Most Reverend Dr. Albert Chama as Bishop of the Anglican Diocese of Lusaka. Congratulations.
The cathedral, which has a seating capacity of 2,500, has been an important spiritual hub not only for Anglicans, but other denominations in Zambia, and is one of the largest churches in the country. Its doors are open to all denominations, and it has become a symbol of national pride and unity. It is a place where people come to pray, to seek guidance, and to find solace in difficult times. It has also been a platform for social justice movements and a voice for the marginalized and oppressed. Indeed, the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross has also played a significant role in shaping the political landscape of Zambia.
Cathedral turning 60 for me, first of all, I'm humbled to be part of this. I lost my grandparents last year. My grandfather was one of the people that was part of the fundraising committee that were raising money to build this church. And my grandmother, I mean, being an Anglican from the time she was born, I think they would have loved to be here. So I don't take this opportunity or this privilege of being here to celebrate with the cathedral for granted. We lost a lot of people last year, especially to COVID, who would have loved to be here. So for me, it's just an honor really to be here and just to see where the cathedral has come from and where it is at this particular time as we celebrate 60.
60 years is not a mean achievement for the church. We have had that unity, and we are so much privileged even to have the reconciliation for the whole country. Whenever we feel that our church is doing these reconciliations for unity, to maintain unity, we are very, very much proud of our church. Indeed, it is not only for us Anglicans, but for everybody. It's the mother church in Lusaka. As you can see, it is on the hill, indicating that Lusaka without this cathedral is not Lusaka. It is Lusaka with this cathedral. So we are very, very much privileged, and we enjoy, we like it. We are so much privileged that we can have all these reconciliation talks being held in this cathedral.
It has been very great even for the members of the family. Even when we started having our family, all our children have been brought up from here, starting from Sunday school. They've been baptized here, and up to now, some are even married. They still worship. They can still come to the cathedral when they have the opportunity. It has been a very, very good church to belong to.
It has also been a place that hosts state funerals, such as for the late Republican presidents.
The transformation has been very interesting and quite amazing to see how from that small church to this cathedral, we now have a diocese that has more than, I think, 70 congregations all across central Lusaka, right across to the Livingston, and that's our diocese of Lusaka. But it also went further to the other dioceses in the east, in the central Zambia, northern Zambia, Luapula, and we hope to see more dioceses grow. So I think for me is the growth and expansion. We are so quick to say the church is stagnant, but when you look at it over 60 years, you can see the growth that this church has achieved. The cathedral has three legs. The first leg, of course, it's a parish. It's where people come to worship, where Anglicans come to worship, and it's the church, as most other churches, come to celebrate Christ. The second leg is that it's the national church, because you can see all these national buildings that are around here, the High Court, the Supreme Court, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Finance. The church is the hub of all these activities, including the hub of the city, because we overlook the city council, we overlook the main city center, and that is what makes Lusaka a city, because it has this cathedral present in it. And then the third hub is that it's the center of our diocese. The administration, the bishop of our diocese presides in this particular cathedral.
The Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross stands for unity of purpose. As the city grows and develops, the cathedral has remained a constant presence, a symbol of hope and faith in a rapidly changing world. On the Holy Cross Day in September 1962, the Anglican Cathedral of the Holy Cross was officially opened for worship, and we now celebrate 60 years of the Cathedral of the Holy Cross and honor its legacy and the people who dedicated their lives to its construction and upkeep. It is a testament to the power of faith and the role that religion plays in shaping the spiritual and political spheres of our society. The Cathedral of the Holy Cross will continue to inspire and guide future generations of Zambians for years to come. Thank you for joining us on this journey.